3, 2, 1. Good evening and welcome to London Raspberry Jam. I'm sorry, I thought you'd be a little bit more excited than that. Welcome to London Raspberry Jam. That's more like it. Now, you'll tell very, very quickly within about 2 or 3 minutes I'm a bit crazy in the way I think. I don't always think in straight lines. And it's possible that some of the things I've planned or talked about for this evening just might not happen because I might forget. If we leave something out or we leave somebody out or somebody feels they're not getting what they want, please talk to me or tweet it or email it afterwards if you're too polite and that kind of thing. This evening is just really 3 aims. This is like a pilot tonight. This could be the last one and the first one combined, or it could be that this is the start of many more things. So the plan is to start a London Raspberry Jam, or many London Raspberry Jams. We might even have a northeast, a north, a northwest. We don't know. Or it could just be that we have a London Raspberry Jam that happens once a month. Another plan, aim, to network. There are loads of people in this room, lots of people who have got things that you need, that you want, but you don't know who they are and how to get them from them. So part of this evening should be to help you. Is there anybody in the room who's got a Raspberry Pi? Just say, aye. Right, hands down. You can shout, we hate Alan, but I don't want to hate anybody with Raspberry Pi. We want to send our love out to Raspberry Pi people tonight. We're sending it from London off to Cambridge. If you haven't got a Raspberry Pi, just kind of go, ooh. Okay, so there is a bit of disquiet among some of you. So this evening's event should really help those people who haven't with those who have. Some of the people I've met have come up to me and they said, hey, Alan, I've got my Raspberry Pi. Great, what have you done with it? I've just been a bit too busy. And then I've heard other people go, what do you mean you're too busy? I've got loads of things I want to do with my Raspberry Pi and mine's not arrived. I've only just today got the email that says in 3 weeks' time I might be able to order it. So this is trying to put the haves with the have-nots. And then the third thing is I'm hoping that this evening will in some way educate, entertain and inform you about the whole Raspberry Pi scene. Now, my plan is, that's the introduction. That's what this evening is all about. If you get a bit tired of listening to people talking or whatever, there's nothing wrong with going over to the bar. There's lots of little spaces, little quiet corridors and stuff like that. You can start your own little Raspberry mini jam, down the corridor or whatever. We've got scones that have been provided by Rosie Slosek. Is it Slousek or Slosek? Oh, we're getting on. It's like scones and scones and... Oh, never mind. Scones, okay. Rosie's made the scones, so tonight they're called scones, okay? She can claim that. We also have some people at Mozilla to say thank you. Shout, thank you, Mozilla! Thank you, Mozilla! So we've got people like CyberDees, or you might want to call him Dees if you don't follow him. Yeah. He's over there. We've got Ryan Watson. Ryan gives a wave. Hello, Ryan. Ryan's got lots of emails from me all about making this thing happen, but it's great. They want lots of people to use this space to make things happen. So that's why they were so keen to help this happen. Have I left any? Oh, my crew. Leon is the guy with all the technology. He's got cameras. Don't say anything bad about Leon, because somewhere in this room there's a camera right now directed on your face. Some of them are hidden in the roof space. I'm not allowed to leave because, look, apparently if I move this, it works. And I move this way. And Neil's just been a general good guy who's sorted lots of stuff out. You can just throw stuff at Neil. and he'll catch them and he'll fix them for you and then throw them back at you. So we have a few people who want to come and talk, and they're not too shy about doing that. So I'm going to mention some of the names. In a little while we'll have Genevieve. Genevieve is a teacher a little bit like me, except she's got hair, okay? And there's a few other differences which you'll spot. She's a bit more sane. Neil's going to Genevieve's a teacher, so she's going to tell us a little bit about how she thinks Raspberry Pi could help what she's doing. But at the same time, Genevieve is organising loads and loads of events. And there's a bit of a race going on between me and Genevieve about who's...
That's so not true.
Oh, okay, that's not true. So I'm in the lead at the moment. And Neil works for an organisation called Young Rewired State. if you know somebody who's under the age of 18, you really need to get them in tune with Young Rewired State, and Neil will tell you why in a little bit. And Neil's come up with some fantastic Raspberry Pi things like field servers, and he's going to tell us a little bit about that. Leon, were you going to do any talking tonight? Not tonight. Okay. We have some Riscos people in here. Give us a shout, Riscos people. Now, if you don't know what Riscos is, you're soon going to find out, because in a few moments they're going to give us a little bit about that and why it links in with Raspberry Pi. Somebody who said they don't want to speak, and I'm hoping he changes his mind. Mr. Pang, SK Pang. Brilliant guy. You may have never met him before. He's doing loads and loads of stuff. He's selling lots of things that, I don't know how he's making a profit, but he's got lots of little kits and gadgets and stuff that you can buy. I've just been up to him, given him £5 for an SD card that he's prepared for me. I've stuck it in my Raspberry Pi. I hope when I get back to the hotel it's working. I've not had a chance to test it yet. He's not selling blank SD cards. But he's brought a light chaser kit, and I expect this is going to be very popular. So in a little while he'll bring it over there and you can go and ask him questions. If you don't talk to anybody tonight and you walk out of the building, you're not really going to get much else to see. It's all about meeting people and talking to people. Now, Genevieve, are you okay to talk for a few minutes?
Oh, it's me.
Great. Okay. So let's hear it for Genevieve. I now anoint you in the way of the camera.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Genevieve. I work at Dorothy Singer School in Brighton, and my Twitter handle is peglegan, or which actually was pegleggen. We currently don't have any Raspberry Pis, nor do we have any budget for Raspberry Pis. So we've kind of contacted our sort of local digital companies, and we've got somebody to donate 3 to us when the education kit comes out, which is rather nice. So we're going to be using that as like a sort of digital lab to sort of test stuff out. So we're going to get like Xbox Connect controllers, sort of interface with lots of different things. So they're kind of like a working lab. Like if you had a cool kind of place to work, that's what you want. That's what we're trying to get anyway in our school. Whether that we do is a different matter because it's all to do with money. And then what Alan was kind of hinting at is that a week on Friday, I'm doing a hack day at my school with 250 students of Year 9, which isn't all of our year group, by the way. It'd be 350 if it was one of our year groups. And is it this computer? Can I open it on top? Oh, actually, can somebody do it for me?
For you.
Oh, thank you. The joys of being one-handed. So the link to our Hack Day page, which the students are doing, is www.dorothy-stringer.co.uk/hackday. Yeah, stringer.co.uk. Like all schools, we don't have any school extensions. We have a company extension. Yeah. There we go. Right. So there we go. So this is just a brief overview of our day, and part of it is that the students will be building something, so either a web app, a phone app, a website, Twitter extension, G+ extension, and at the day, because of some of the people I know, I've got Clear Left, so there's a lot of Brighton companies if you don't know who they are, so Clear Left, got front-end developer. We've got Code Club coming, UX designer. Aral Balkan is another one who's going to do a talk on UX design. And we have AppShed releasing 2 extensions of their software. We also have Silvano and Lewis from Google offices in London coming down to do some stuff. Plus lots of other people. We've got 3 university professors. I just kind of asked them when, can you come down? It's me, disabled, please, come on. Anything to get anyone to come down and join it. But basically, part of the day, it will be live broadcast like we're doing this, using Google Air Hangouts, all being well with our bandwidth. And on top of this, there's also a, where's this?
Sorry, did you drive?
Sorry. I just need you to scroll down so you can see the day. So Part of it is that anyone can join in. There's also lots of stuff for everyone to do just within a lesson. So there's presentations, there's a workbook, there's PDFs, and there's also, which I'm doing at the moment, an iBook to go with it, so that you can actually, this is just for me, trial and lots of software which I want to use with my students. And this particular site is actually being built with me and the students, and it's fully accessible to everyone, including readers. It's a liquid design, so it works on tablets all the way down to sort of any mobile device. I did get told off by a lot of UX designers, so I had to change it. So it does actually work properly now. Basically this, anyone can join in, and I'd like everybody to join in. That's the whole kind of purpose of it, is that to create that kind of, the same sort of way as Alan and all the rest of us are doing, that creative global classroom. You know, nobody's the teacher, everybody's the teacher, and we're all students as well. So that's one of the things that I'm doing. And then another thing that I do is I actually teach year 1 and 2 classes how to program in Scratch, which is actually really, really good. And they are a lot better than most of my year 9s. In terms of certainly having a go at failing. So we do that with Lego Redo, and one of the other things that we want to do is sort of expose them to the sort of Raspberry Pi, but obviously I need to learn that first and also learn to program in Python. So a few little learning things for me. So, and thank you, Alan, for letting me plug my hack deck. So yes, so this is all me planning it on my own, and I'd like everybody to join in. So it'll all be live, and you can get it through here. And the hashtag is literally #hackday. So nothing too exciting. But and if anyone wants to do anything, if they want to do join in any of the Hangouts and you're not here, feel free, just let me know and we can slot it in and make you a leader. And thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
I assume this is just a voluntary day as such, where pupils are encouraged to come along. It's not part of the curriculum, is it? It's off.
No, we have. We're still allowed in our school to do Raspberry. We're still allowed in our school to do actually activities week, which a lot of schools aren't. Which is why I've built in the 1 hour thing. So they have lots of options that they can take, and actually most of the students wanted to do it. So therefore we kind of made it not necessarily compulsory as such, but it's quite unusual to get sort of access to 250 of your students to do something off curriculum and just kind of go for it, not really worry about anything fails, which is likely to happen. Yeah. But we do that quite often.
Please, if you have any more questions for Genevieve, she'll be floating around as she does with her stick.
You can't miss me with my green card.
But she'll happily answer any questions. Now, web address, Genevieve, web address for...
Yes, it's my school website.
But you can also, if you do a search on Twitter @PegLegan with lots of G's in it, you can send her a message and say, tell us again. And maybe somebody will put a London hash, Raspberry Jam, PegLegan's site is, and then people can find out about it. Now, in a couple of minutes, Neil Ford is going to demonstrate something that's very much Raspberry Jam, Raspberry Pi. I'm going to have to stop doing that. And Neil is demonstrating just how you use Twitter to share something. So we've got hash Raspberry Jam Brighton School. Oh, Neil, you are so good. Didn't I say he was good? Now, I'm sorry. Well, that's it. I'm not going to apologise. If this evening seems like there's a lot of talk about education, because the plan, the aim of the Raspberry Pi is to support education. Some people, if you go around and talk to them, say, oh, what children learn in schools is boring in ICT, it's not fit for what they need and all this kind of thing. And Michael Gove, our lovely, lovely Secretary of State. Sorry, you're on your own, Andy.
No, he does have a use. No, he really does have a use.
Michael Gove has a use.
Did you know that the Secretary of State for Education can exempt an event from CRB regulations?
Oh, right,
So
okay.
he's really useful if you've got like 500 kids in one location and you don't want to get everybody's CRB
A
checked.
bit like Hack to the Future, something like
Well,
that.
Hack to the Future or possibly the Festival of Code for Young Rewired State.
Okay.
You get him to accept the event.
We're trying to usurp each other with plugs for our own little
Yeah,
projects.
don't worry, I'm going to do that in a minute.
Now, just before Neil, I can do the, what's that comedian called? It does and he has lots of comedians on. He fills in the bits in between with stuff. Yeah, one of them. Okay. Anyway, so we've got teachers in schools who've got about 2 years or so if they want to try and form and make the curriculum go in a certain direction. Like maybe it should have more about programming, maybe it should be software engineering, maybe it should be about computer science. So some teachers like myself and Genevieve are trying lots of different things and really wanted with Raspberry Jam to help probably where you live. There's maybe a school and they're banging their heads right now saying, how on earth do we get computing into the curriculum? And maybe you know with Raspberry Pi how you can make that happen. So I'm going to pass over to Neil now and we'll pick up on that little thing a little bit later. So Neil Ford is, if you're looking on Twitter, he's at Neil C. Ford. C as in the letter C.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Alan. Right, I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things this evening. Let me find the first bit. And yeah, look, hey, Amazon wishlist. I didn't bother with the presentation. It actually doesn't work yet, but I'll explain why. Right, this came out of an event that we, a number of us attended in Devon about 6 weeks ago, Andy? 4 to 6 weeks, it's about that. We attended a hack day for the Field Studies Council, who are the organisation, they're a charity, and they run the vast majority of school field trips. Biology, botany, that kind of things, where the kids go, and they've got centres all over the country. And we went to this absolutely fantastic place down in Devon. Weather was nice, yeah, food was great, beer was awesome. Though I don't drink, but the beer was really good apparently, and we had a really good time. Now, one of the problems that they have is that they've got all the kids turn up, and they've all got smart devices, so they've all got their smartphones, be they, you know, Apple, Android, whatever. Or they might even have iPads, and the centre has iPads. But out in the middle of a field, and I really do mean a field, or alternatively, knee-deep in water in a river, there's no network coverage. There's nothing. No cellular, no Wi-Fi. And the question is, how can you get the kids to be able to use their smartphones to aid the data capture that they currently do on bits of paper with pen and pencil? The portable Pi came to my mind. Now, I didn't actually get a chance at the weekend to build this because I'd only got my Raspberry Pi about 2 days before and I hadn't got all the bits. But I've subsequently been sitting down and working out what I need and actually making some of it work and figuring out what will and will not work and stuff like that. So basically what you do, I'm going to start with, this is on a slightly bigger board because this is got a breadboard on it. Where
did you get that awesome board from, that case?
Where did I get the awesome case from? Yeah. Oh yes, this is an SK Pang case. Roll down, there you go. Raspberry, that's the experimenters. I'm too stupid to do that. Right, here we go. SK Pang Electronics. skpang.co.uk. Here we go. Let's say skpang.co.uk. All sorts of lovely. This is part of their experimenters kit, which comes with the breadboard, the slightly larger board to mount it all on, some LEDs, jumper leads for the GPIO, so that you can suspect it's roughly what that demonstration that is there is running on. This is kitted up like this because this goes to my nephew at the end of next week. He's only 10 and he doesn't know he's getting it yet. So I'm taking him to Coda Dojo London, and then when we get back to his house, he's going to find out he's got one of these to play with. And then I'm without one until my next one arrives. Anyway, right, so you take the case, you take the Raspberry Pi, you need a battery. So this thing, 1,000 milliamp external battery. According to the Raspberry Pi wiki, this will actually run a Raspberry Pi for 12 hours. Somebody's actually tested it. And it's got standard USB outs. One is 1 amp and one is 2 amps, which is like, oh, fantastic. You take which goes from that into the micro USB so that you've got power for your Raspberry Pi. A wireless adapter. This one works because that actually does work. That now works very nicely. And the idea is put that all together, install a web server on it, and then install a web app. Now, of field log analysis instant resource. This was one of the hacks that came out of the hack day. Completely independent of me thinking about how do I make a portable web server that can be put in a box, stuck in a rucksack, and taken to a river. This basically is an HTML5 app that would run on the server. Kids would connect to it with their iPhones or their Androids or whatever, and it actually allows them to log the data that they're capturing, so river depth, flow, the width of the river, what the bottom of the river looks like, but it's also designed to provide answers to questions. So the kids can ask, basically the app would have resources. Now, one of the big problems, or the follow-up problems that they have at the moment, the paper that the kids fill in, they all get back to the centre after a day in the great outdoors, and then one of the instructors has to spend the dinner hour, or the dinner half hour, I should say, while the kids having some food, typical, school dinner type food. They have to sit and type in all the results so that afterwards the kids can go into the classroom for about an hour and they can look at the results. It all gets written out to the SD card. Pull the SD card out, stick it in something else, suck the data off, and then we'll skip over this one. This thing by Andy Piper and Neil. We won a prize for that. Where's it gone? Here we go. Historical data-driven education. Basically takes the data that Flare would generate and then allows you to map it or analyse it in some very clever graphs. And they actually had the demonstration, and unfortunately there is none of these are actually live, but there is a demonstration that shows you they took a load of historical river data and then mapped it, and it was great because they showed here's one school and this is what the bottom of the river looked like to 6 different sets of kids, and it went all over the place. So
1 minute?
No, 1 minute. Oh God, I know I was on time. You should have said. Anyway, so yes, idea: stick it in a box, make it fully portable, and then use it for in the field data capture. Right, I've got a minute. The other thing I want to talk to everybody about is this Young Rewired State.
Yeah.
Right now, this year we are taking 500 kids in 50 centres around. Open data from the government and other sources, and then at the end of that week, so they go Monday to Friday, and Friday afternoon they come to the Festival of Code, which, if they don't charge us an arm and a leg, we found a venue for today. We're going to go to Birmingham. It's going to be awesome. Yes, camping in the centre of Birmingham. That's going to be an interesting trick, but we've got a way around that, and it doesn't involve jackhammers in tarmac. But basically, rewiredstate.org, as Alan says, if you know anybody that is between, actually under the age of 18, our youngest participant last year was 7, and boy did he tear the nice man from number 10 a new arsehole, but that's a whole different story.
59 seconds left.
Basically, if you've got anybody who's a kid who you think might be interested, get them here, get them signed up, we'll add them to a centre, they'll learn to code, they can come to this massive party in Birmingham. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be food, drinks, sugary sweets, the whole shooting match. And if it all comes off, and I am so crossing my fingers, one of the judges is going to be Lily Cole, the supermodel and actress. She's behind us 100%. So she's going to be one of our judges. That's going to be fantastic. So yeah, Young Rewired State, 500 kids, lots of hacking, lots of code. Really is a big project. This is what I now spend my life doing, having answered a Twitter from Hub Mum, otherwise known as Emma Mulqueenie, and going, yeah, I've got some free time, Emma, I'll give you a hand. In February, I am now literally 24/7. This is my life, much to my wife's. No, she's quite happy I'm out of the house. Anyway, so Young Rewired State, Young US State, please, if you know kids We've still got space. We want as many kids as possible. We want to get them coding. We want to get them looking at real world problems, and we want to generate the next Zuckerberg, and we'd like to keep them in this country. That's one of our aims. We're not losing these kids to San Francisco. We want to keep them here. We want to find them jobs, and we want them making this a better country, which is what we're about. Thank you.
Let's big it up for Neil Seaford, Young Rewire State.
Neil, can you tweet your wish list?
Tweet your wish list, Neil.
People running Cambridge want to know.
Ah,
Wish list.
wish list. Now, talking of wish lists, we're going to have another speaker in a moment.
Deadline, what, deadline for kids?
Yeah.
Not at this moment in time.
Oh, brilliant.
So, no.
But as a
I need
deadline
to
for
talk to you
developers-
about your event, 'cause I've got to come down.
Has a deadline for developers passed?
Developers.
Adult mentors.
No, mentors can sign up as
Yeah.
well. We're still looking for some centres.
It really is. If you just go online and find some of the videos from last year, or if you look at Learning Without Frontiers, there was a demonstration there, children talking. It's just... sorry if you've heard this story. 3 years ago, parents' evening, so I'm a teacher, a year 8 pupil, so a 13-year-old boy, his parents came and sat in front of me at parents' evening, and they said, how's Jonathan doing? So I looked and I said, Jonathan's doing really well. On his last test, he got 98%, which wasn't bad, but in a test before he got 100%. He's been getting A's and A's and A's and A's for everything, so I'm really, really pleased. And then there was an awkward silence. And they said, has Jonathan been telling you what he's been doing on his computer? And I went, he's not been looking at pictures of stuff and videos and stuff online, has he? No. Has he not mentioned the PayPal thing? Like what happened with PayPal? Oh, no. Don't tell me, he got your credit card and he started buying stuff and spent thousands. No. And the mother reached in her bag and she pulled out 1, 2, 3 PayPal statements from when he was 10 years old. First one said £11,000, second one said £13,000, and the third one said £18,000. By the time he was 13, he'd made £18,000 just in that 1 year, plus all the others. He lives on a farm. Mum and dad are farmers. His brother and sister love animals. He hates cows. He says they stink. He doesn't like drinking milk. So he's taught himself how to code in his bedroom. They said, we don't really think he's getting a lot from his ICT lessons. No kidding. Now, earlier this evening, I asked you to fill in some post-it notes with the kind of things you wanted from this evening. And I've just gone and picked up a sample. Leo White, he said he wanted some beer. Leo, have you got a beer? That's a can of Coke. You sat in the wrong place. You need to be over there. Raspberry Jam is about making dreams come true, okay? Somebody's interested in robotics, and they've done a squiggle at the bottom that looks like an E. Yeah, it's you. Okay. Talk to me. There's a fantastic project that's going to be announced soon, where you've got this sort of a robotic interface that sits right on top of a Raspberry Pi board. Whoa, you okay? Did it give a little bit more than you wanted? And this board sits on top. It's got inputs and outputs and relays and all that sort of stuff. Perfect for. Just imagine a robot that costs you £40 for all the control part of it. You can leave it in a tree, in a lake, in a field. You can do whatever you want with it. And if somebody runs over it in a truck, it's going to cost you £40 for another one. Somebody wants a chance to teach disengaged kids programming. Oh, hang on, it's pointing in. Is that you by any chance? EBD 35. Yeah. Are you starting to see any chances at the moment how you could use Raspberry Pi to? This is why I'm here. You're here. So Mary wants to know at some point during this evening, go over and tell her, how can she teach disengaged children's programming? So like the boy I mentioned, Jonathan, he wasn't getting anything of ICT lessons. How could the Raspberry Pi help him? Go and tell Mary when you get a chance. What else? We had somebody, when do you want the next event to happen? Mark S. has said tomorrow. Where's Mark? Okay, well, Mark, courtesy of The Guardian, I'm still in London till 8:30 tomorrow. So let's get a table. You buy the wine, I'll buy the pizza, and we'll have our own little jam somewhere. That wasn't a date. I'm married, by the way, okay? I've got kids, okay? But I like pizza and I like wine. And Keith Dunlop, He says he's come here because he wants to demonstrate RISC-OS and Raspberry Pi. Would you like to do that now, Keith?
Tell you what, let's do it.
Okay, great. Show it up for Keith, okay? You have to wear the medallion.
No, I do have to wear the medallion.
Okay. And like me, you've got long hair and it just tangles up in your hair. And,
Oh, I know, it's terrible. Right, this is probably not going to work, but what we're actually going to do is grab a Raspberry Pi, which is over here, and relevant bits of hardware with cables and things like that. Stick them on here. And a keyboard, that might help. What we're going to demonstrate is an alternative operating system that does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself down for a minute and do very complicated hardware things, which I'm sure is going to make you all sweat quite a lot. And so bear with me for about a couple of minutes and then we'll be all right. Came out on was a thing called an Acorn Archimedes, which is 25 years ago, and a system that ran on it.
And what was ARM originally?
Well, yes, ARM. Would call it Acorn's RISC machine, depending on how you interpreted it. So, particular operation, the ARM architecture. These days, it runs on an awful lot of different ARM platforms. It runs on the Texas Instruments OMAP 3s, the OMAP 4s, and it runs on the Raspberry Pi. Now, the reason for the Raspberry Pi is that there are people who work for Broadcom who are very familiar in the RISC-OS communities. Oh, yeah, we know who they are. Historically, Acorn used to sell an awful lot of computers into schools. So obviously the education link has been there since the mid to late 80s. Well, in fact, since the early 80s. I mean, the first computer I can remember in my school in 1984, yes, you're allowed to take the mickey of how old I am as well, was a BBC Model B. Of course, that was just what happened in the UK. So because of the push to the education and the Raspberry Pi, then obviously it made sense to get RISC-OS running. Now, RISC-OS is, this version of RISC-OS, even the developers call it alpha release. You probably see the screen tearing on the screen and all sorts of other stuff. Even like this map. Let me switch it back on again. There we go. Bloody marvelous. Right. What I'm going to do is just sort of talk you through the operating system very, very quickly. Then I'm going to enter a thing called a task window. It's the equivalent of a terminal on those horrible other alien operating systems that were never really designed to natively run on ARM. Not that I'm biased. Right. First thing, obviously, is this big grey bar along the bottom. That's always been there. You'll be familiar with it on almost every other kind of operating system. This one did it first. And like an operating system. Now, if you're missing about it, day one, the people that designed RISC-OS realized when you're holding a mouse, you've got 3 fingers free. So, you use your middle load things. The other one, like for instance, multiple selects, just like that. Note, you've got a mouse, you might as well use it to the best of its abilities. So that, this version of the operating system is actually an open source variety. The license it's released under is a thing called a shared license. The idea being that if you're using it just within the community, blah, 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 you're not trying to make any money out of it, you just use it. But if you are a company that wants to sell a product that's got the operating system in it, then you have to pay the exorbitant license fees of 20 quid. Right. Oh, I've not configured the network on here because we need because of the alpha state of the operating system, we actually need a wired network connection. But the website to get the operating system from is very difficult. It's called riskosopen.org. If you just put in RISC-OS, it's about the second entry into Google. Third entry, sorry. Right, well, let's... Yes, we still have commercial software. This is about the most powerful vector drawing package that exists in the world. And these are, any of you that do remember RISC-OS from many years ago, and one person that does has just walked away, and I'm going to go walk around here and go, come here, like, watch this. You remember this?
Yeah.
Right, you ready?
I'm back. I'm not the only person in this room.
I know you're not, but we've talked.
Come on.
This is the artworks demonstrations. That's a vector image, and they're well known for being, sort of a demonstration of how quick these things really are. Because the OS is, the operating system's huge. It's 6 megabytes. In fact, there's been arguments in the community recently about going above the 4 limit. Yeah, that's also the other thing is that in older machines, the operating system's actually in a ROM or an E-squared or something like that. Obviously on a Raspberry Pi or a Panda board or a BeagleBoard or something like that, there is a part of the SD card cunningly hidden from this user, so I don't delete it, which contains the operating system. Yeah, all 6 megabit. Right, those of you that do remember this demonstration, it's quite quick, isn't it? And this is only a 700 megahertz machine.
Yeah, I struggle on with 600.
Yeah, well, 500 makes a difference. You should see what it's like at 1.5 gig, mate. It's amazing. I mean, obviously you can see there's quite a lot of tearing going on the screen and things like that. That's because RISC-OS's mouse is actually hardware embedded. And one of the things that delayed the Raspberry Pi port was the USB. Because the Raspberry Pi has a rather interesting way of doing USB, he says, being diplomatic, in that because of the age of the system on a chip, it doesn't have the normal OHCI and the HCI controllers. So you actually have to implement an awful lot of the USB in software. Those of you that have looked at some of the Raspberry Pi Linux forums will have seen that there's the driver that the Raspberry Pi organization are using for their Linux distribution is producing quite serious processor overload. We think it's happening as well, but we'll get it sorted out. Well then, I've had enough of doing demonstrations and things like that. You can do, it's a computer. It's like a desktop computer, but it's a Raspberry Pi, but it's a desktop computer, but it's a Raspberry Pi. But that's a bit boring when we've got all these... I'm now going to ask people to remember something else. When I get the button right. Right. It's called the task window. It's RISC-OS's version of the command line. I use this. I can't stand being at the command line. I've got a keyboard, I've got a mouse. Why the hell should I have to be typing things in to tell the computer what to do? However, for the purpose of type in these little letters,
Visual base. 1 minute?
yeah, easily. It's I don't know, one of the interviews he did on the BBC was we were talking about the Raspberry Pi. This is about 12 months ago, and he said we really need a copy. Spill. Full stop. End of story. Any questions? Well, that's a question, but leave it there.
Can I
Sorry?
have you in Italian, please?
Oh, really?
When are you expecting it to make alpha?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I should have mentioned this. It will be a fully stable release in time for the educational release in September. Well, no, it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, then hates the world. It's quite simple.
I didn't think the head teachers were that interested, really, to tell you the truth. But
Didn't they? I don't know. I was looking at one around here somewhere. Did anybody else see a teacher was interested? I think there's another one in green trousers over there.
Now, we're going to have another talk in a moment, but somebody said this is Alan's gig, and it said it's not. This is your gig. This is all about you. You are the people who make London Raspberry Jam. I don't even live in London. I live about 250 miles away. This is a special thing for me. I won't be here at the next one. Boo-hoo-hoo. But I hope that you will all be here for the next one. Some of you filled in some post-it notes. John Davies. Is that right? Davies? Davis. Oh, sorry, John. John wants to know. Can you see John? John's over here with a... Where did you find the Guinness? Nobody told me there was Guinness here. Oh. I'm going to have another drink of Guinness when Ireland have won in the Euros. Okay. So, John wants to know if anybody's got the same problems as he has with the Raspberry Pi. And he wants to see what people are doing. So, when we finish in about 15 minutes, we finish the talks, please go and talk to John and find out, please, because we need to fix whatever his problems are. Okay? Oh, he's got a machine as well, so come and see him. We also have, I think it's Alex Z. Oh, hello, Alex. That's a lot of L's in it. Alex wants to see what other people are doing with their Raspberry Pis. So if you've got one and you're doing stuff, Alex, just wave again. Okay? Alex has got much more hair than I have. He's got lots of it here and some at the sides as well. Okay, just to show off. Simon Neal has sent me about 20 emails trying to get a ticket to come here tonight. I bet you wish you hadn't bothered now. Simon he says he's heard about the Raspberry Pi a couple of months ago, and which creates excitement about how to engage with my kids and his kids in how to write and not just read. So Simon's got a notepad, post-it notes. He wants to find out lots of stuff, so go and find Simon at some point. Martin B. Who's Martin B? Hello, Martin. Martin wants these things to happen every month. So, Martin, you're the guy. Okay? Say hello to Ryan and Cyber and all the others, and you set it up. People will come. If you build it, they will come. I heard that in a film once. And somebody who's not put their name on says they're not sure what they want, but they're quite interested in regular meets where people can share what they're doing with their Pi, get ideas to help them, etc. Come and talk to Martin B, and he'll make that happen. Okay. Now, some of our sponsors tonight, they've paid for all your Coke and Fanta and all those kind of things, but not the scones. They are doing lots of things that don't involve Raspberry Pis at the moment because there just aren't enough Raspberry Pis to go around. So, they've put together lots of things that are going to happen this summer. This is the summer of code. So, John Bevan, big it up for John Bevan. I should have said, you might know John Bevan as Bevangelist on Twitter. So if you type in Bevan, B-E-V-A-N, Gelist, that's very clever. That's almost as clever as Techno Teacher.
Trained to be an RE teacher. So that's
the evangelist RE teacher. And now he's preaching all about coding.
Spreading the good news about Thimble.
So he's going to talk to us about a product called Thimble, which has only just in the last couple of days sort of become public. And
it launched on Monday.
Now, I have to say, it's nothing at all at the moment to do with Raspberry Pi. But you're going to get this at a Raspberry Jam, because just like when I used to take my saxophone to play it in church, you sometimes get people to bring things along, and then people go, whoa, a saxophone in church, I've never had that before. And John is going to talk to us about Thimble.
Any second.
Yeah. Now, okay, when I was 11 years old, I had in school with them BBC Bees. Anybody here have one of them? Oh, quite a few of you. My parents couldn't afford one, so they bought me a ZX Spectrum. But Steve... No, 1983, yeah. And Steve Ferber, he refers it to as the rectum. Well, he would do, because he's made quite a lot of money out of the BBC Micro. And I wanted to find out about how to program it. And one of the things I did was in Preston, we had what was called PACE, Preston Atari Computer Enthusiasts. They met once a month, and there was lots of people with Ataris, 400s, 800s, 1200s, you name it. They had every kind of Atari. And unfortunately for me, it was mainly men with beards and sandals and t-shirts. No stereotypes there. And when I told my mum I was hanging around with a bunch of 40-year-olds who were like showing me lots of cool stuff, she started to get a bit worried. This was before we had things like CRB checks. So the idea with a Raspberry Jam is that they are open to anybody of all ages. Oh, hello. How old are you?
I'm 13.
Welcome to Raspberry Jam. Okay. You need to carry the torch for Raspberry Jam. We've got somebody else who's...
I'm 12.
Oh, can we go any younger than 12?
Oh!
Yeah. I get a little bit upset when people send me emails saying, can I bring my son, can I bring my daughter along to a Raspberry Jam? Yes, of course! I'm a teacher. That's what my job is all about, trying to teach children how to code. And maybe we could teach some of these adults how to do it as well. Is there anybody who'd like to come up and take the mic for a minute?
We're ready.
Would you like to take the mic for a minute? Take the medallion as well. I promise we're going to finish in about 10 minutes talks, and then you can go and mingle and do stuff.
Cool. Well, I was going to ask for a volunteer from the audience, but now, because we're using Ryan's laptop, he can be our volunteer. It launched on Monday. It's a tool to get people tinkering and playing with the web. So you can take people from absolutely zero level of knowledge through to publishing on the web in a matter of minutes. So what we'll do now is, by way of a demonstration, you'll probably struggle to see at the back because we're going to do a little bit of code on the left-hand pane in a second. So if you want to gather round, if you're interested, if not, grab me later on and we can have a chat. But if Ryan scrolls down a little bit on this page until we get to, sorry, back up, just click on Thimble at the top there. And then scroll down to Get Started. Pick a project. And then scroll down until we get to the Make a Meme project. Is one of the really simple ones to get people started. That's the one. And then, so this is Thimble. They're all laid out around this same format where you've got the left-hand pane is commented HTML and CSS, and then on the right it's rendered live as you type. So this is a bit of, you know, training wheels. You're not starting with a completely blank sheet of paper. You've got something to get yourself get started with. So for more confident or older learners, they can read through the commented code and follow it, or if we've tested this with Coder Dojo with children as young as 5 or 6, and I'll talk you through something that's, you know, we can do with kids that age. Actually, if you turn the hints off, just so they don't get in the way of, it's disappeared now, that's it. So, for an example, let's make a web page for tonight. So if Ryan goes to the Raspberry Pi Eventbrite page and then copy location for that image, go back into Thimble, and then here's an of that and pastes in the image from the Eventbrite page. There it appears straight away. If he scrolls down in the head, to that page that you've moved, if you were talking about turning from just reading to writing or consuming to creating, this is a tool that can get you doing it in however long we've just taken, 5 minutes, something like that. So, and this is one of a suite of tools that we're building underneath the WebMaker tools. So we've got Thimble that's just launched. There's Popcorn Maker, which is for editing video and making responsive web pages that sit around video. Hacksaurus, so come and have a chat. This is a big area of focus for Mozilla going forward, and we'd love to get BootGecko running on a Raspberry Pi. We'd love to get a browser running on a Raspberry Pi. We can get consuming the web. So yeah, that's it.
Big it up for Medallion Man, John Bevan. I'm sorry, you're going to have to do better than that because he was the first speaker. I didn't have to say you've got 1 minute left.
Oh, well, I'm usually the bad guy at Hack Days saying, you've got 90 seconds for everything, so
okay.
I didn't want to take a minute.
Now, we've got 4 minutes left. Now, in these next 4 minutes, I want to give you some ideas about what might happen next. We had a big board over there about what should happen after tonight. My plan is to say at 9:30, okay, everybody, come on, let's pick up your Raspberry Pis. Oh, some of you haven't gotten any yet. No. Okay. Well, when I say pick up your Raspberry Pis, please only pick one up if it belongs to you. Tomas wants to share something with you. He's just gone out, so I've recorded a quick audio boo with him in the corridor. He's found a way of making your Raspberry Pi go wireless. But I noticed the way when he said he had to go, he unzipped his bag, he looked in it, checked in the pocket, he reached yes, he still had it, and zipped it back in again. What kind of people does he think that we are? So, from 9 o'clock till 9:30, please don't leave. Please stay here for at least 15 or 20 minutes. I'm going to talk to you about something in a minute. But for those 15 or 20 minutes, now we have breakout spaces. Now, the way we can move forward is we can just say, all those in favour of another one of these, say aye. Aye. All right, so we need to... Martin, you need to get your diary out, and you need to go and speak to Ryan. Ryan, just give you a shout again. Ryan? Hello, Ryan. Get your diary out, go and speak to Ryan, and then work out what works well for you. It could be the same night and exactly... You look like you're changing your mind.
We'll
talk about it. Exchange emails and all that. And... I'll still do a little bit to help Martin publicise it and make people aware of it and all the rest, but I cannot make the next one unless it's tomorrow. And but some people might be thinking, "Whoa, let's have a Shoreditch Raspberry Jam, or let's have a Southeast Raspberry Jam." Carlos, hello, Carlos. This all happened, because of this guy over here. Carlos said, "Let's have a London Raspberry Jam, Northenden." But I think Carlos is saying he's happy to go central, yeah, for the moment.
I'll deal with the crowd.
Yeah, deal with the crowd. But if it starts getting so big, one thing you could do, if you just want to go and talk to somebody, like if you want to find out what this guy's problems are, talk to him over here, but find a quiet corner. There is lots of breakout rooms around the space. Now, before we break it up, we've got 2 minutes left, I'm going to go with my roving mic. Sorry, camera, I don't think you're going to catch me this time. And I'm going to go and speak to Rosie. Now, I didn't warn Rosie, so I'm just warning Rosie at the moment. Rosie is somebody who comes to this space often to work. This is a fantastic space. And Rosie, in a moment, is going to just... I'm sorry, somebody said you like to talk.
It's just that I'm in the middle of doing a document and my computer's about to die.
Oh. Shall I come over? Okay. Rosie, 30 seconds. What's so great about this space? Rosie made the scones, by the way. And brought the raspberry jam. What do you come and do here? Yeah.
Oh, well, I generally just come in here to work. It's just a really nice, friendly space, and primarily I come here because actually the people are really good. You always meet someone really, really good here. And the Cyberdees, who doesn't like that, there he is, who is always really, really, really helpful.
As long as I'm paying in beer.
So I'm getting beer, and unfortunately there's no beer in the scones. I'm sorry, but there's teachers around and I just couldn't do it. So thank you, and just thank you very much for having this space.
And you've got 5% battery left.